and I got underneath him. I got you off the ground, maybe to your tiptoes.
Yeah.
And then he goes, I was like, oh no. He went dead weight. Boom. I hit the floor. Child. Oh, I gotta get over here. Okay. Welcome back to another episode of No Simping, Just Pimping. If you're watching on YouTube, you see that we are not in our normal studio, and we actually are missing a person. My co-host Trey Siemens could not actually make it because I am currently 2.5 hours away from our studio. I am in Hays, Kansas, with my buddy Nick Gossage, who is a D2 football player, O-lineman for the Hays Tigers. If you are listening on Spotify or iTunes, thank you for the support. Make sure you do a 5-star on that. And then if you are watching on YouTube, comment, let us know you're there, and make sure you hit that sub button. We're going to jump right into this, and I'm going to start it off with a very, very, very simple question for you. Do you know who I almost said that wrong. Elon Musk is?
Yeah. The owner of Tesla?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you hear about how he released the satellites?
No, I don't follow that closely.
Okay. Well, I didn't either. That's the problem. Okay, so last night, me and my dad walked out to let the puppies out and everything. And as soon as we walked out, you could actually see, I don't even know how many he released. I'll have to look it up. He released a bunch of satellites into orbit last night. Well, when he released them, you could see them going in. And I looked up in the sky, and I saw them all going. And, I mean, they were in a straight line, just all moving. With all of the, like, assumptions of, like, aliens and everything and, like, UFOs, I was like, Dad? And he comes and looks, and the first thing he says is he looks up and he goes, and then he remembered and he told me. But
It's like the world's ending.
yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, oh, God.
It's like Independence Day.
Exactly.
They come down and just wipe out everything.
That leads to my first question, because I want to know what you think about aliens. Do aliens exist?
You know, I'm open to the possibility
I
of it,
just think the universe is too big.
Is
it cutting my head off? Oh, thank you.
No, like I said, I think I'm open to the possibilities. Like, I could be wrong or I could be completely right. You know, people are saying we've only discovered 10% of the ocean that we have, and there's a lot of water.
Yeah.
There's a lot of water, and we haven't seen it all. Well, we've always, we're now finally at Mars. You know, we're expanding, so we haven't explored all of space. So maybe, maybe maybe we're in this little blimp. I don't know. There could be, but it also could all be hoaxed.
There's this video that I saw, and it cracked me up so much, because the guy, he looked at him and he goes, "Wait, aliens are real?" It's like an alien came to Earth, and he goes, "Do you?" He looks at him and goes, "Do you know Jesus?" And the alien goes, "Yeah, we know Jesus.
Yeah,
Jesus is cool."
It's like, he comes every 2 years or something.
We send him back with bread and we
candy
feed him and candy and everything else. And he goes,
he
goes, "Wait, what?" And he goes, "We haven't seen Jesus in however many years." And he goes, "Well, what'd you guys do when he left?" He goes, I was like, oh, that's tough. But the main reason I ended up asking Nick to come on this is because if you are in high school, if you're a high school athlete, you only have 4 years in high school. You only have 4 years of an opportunity to become an athlete that is successful enough to go play college. I know you had prefer walk-ons at D1 schools. I know you are now playing for the football team here in Hays. And the question, I'll start off with this. In high school, what is advice that you'll give to, whether it be volleyball, basketball, it doesn't matter what sport you're playing, what is the one advice you'll give to, student athletes that are trying to make it to the next, level?
Grades. And I know it sounds cliche and everything like that, but grades are probably the most important thing
It's dripping on it. It's like making me look like I whipped myself. I don't like it. It's cold too.
No, grades. Coaches look back at your freshman year, all the way to your senior year. And if, you don't do well in the classroom, but you're an outstanding athlete, that's going to be hard for you to go anywhere, no matter what sport you play, and, being part of whatever percent it is. I know it's a low percent, so probably it's like, I think last I saw was like a 6%. There's like 6% of college athletes, and that's like, from D1 to like JUCO. Like there's not a lot that continue to play. But grades
just noted for, obviously I'm not a huge dude. I am not even 5'10". This dude, how tall are you?
6'4".
He's 6'4". I'm going to tell this story kind of goes in with the day I met Nick. Oh my gosh. The day I met Nick, I come up here for somebody's 21st birthday party. I can't even remember what it was. But my sister came up to me and she goes, "Hey, hey, I got somebody that I want to introduce you to." I was like, "Okay, who is it?" She goes, "His name's Nick." And I said, "Okay." And I'm looking around at this living room full of people, and I'm like, I don't see him. This dude's over here standing in the corner behind a bunch of people. His head is still peeking up over everybody. I was like, "Bailey, where is he? I don't see it." And I just remember her turning around and going, "Oh, he's over there." And I was like, I'm looking for somebody my height, because normally, like, I try to stick to people my size because I don't like being towered over, okay? It's not necessarily a good feeling, all right? But I feel like I'm being watched. We actually have a live audience tonight. There's like 5 or 6 people up in here today. So, but he's standing over in the corner, and she goes, "That's him right there." And I was like,
"Yeah,
you're what? Hey man, my name's Nick. I play football." And I was like, "You don't say." "What's up, dude?" But by the end of the night, it was funny because that's when like TikTok first kind of like really started happening.
Like TikTok had was just starting to get big.
Yeah, we were sitting on the couch, and it was just back and forth showing TikToks the whole night.
Gavin and I, outside of football, there's not a whole lot of time to meet new people and get to know new people. Especially just have like some downtime, because you're going so much. But when you get that downtime, that opportunity to meet new people, and I met you like you said, by the end of the night, you and I are sitting here just laughing and wheezing on the couch in front of just random people at this birthday party, making kind of just, we're just being stupid.
That was in your old apartment, right? Sorry, I'm talking to my sister. She's behind the camera.
And that was the first, like, at that point, it was just like from right then and there, you and I just.
It was like, is it easy? I remember Bailey sitting there, and
she goes, "What did I do?"
Yeah, she like almost had fear in her eyes of like, there's now 2 of them. Yeah. What are we gonna do?
Well, and they get a little break when you go back to Wichita, and I gotta stay here. Otherwise, it would be
it'd be a mess.
It would.
No, I have multiple stories because I've known you for a little over a year now. But almost every time I come up, I walk off with like a comedy story. And going back to like our size difference, I tried to wrestle this dude, and I got underneath him. I got you off the ground, maybe to your tiptoes.
Yeah.
And then he goes, I was like, "Oh no!" He went dead weight. Boom! I hit the floor, and then he picks me up upside down, and he just drops me. I was like, "All right, I'm done. I quit."
So he's like, gotta use my size to advantage sometimes.
That was cheating.
It's not cheating. It's fair.
No, well,
I got a hold of you. You're not going nowhere.
This was at like 4 or 5 in the morning. We were already sleep deprived as it was. Man. This dude right after that decides, you know what? I'm gonna just take flight. It was in the room we're in now. As you can see, like the ceilings are way up there.
Yeah.
This dude, I swear, he was maybe 3 inches from the ceiling, and he just full on Superman's onto the couch, and you just hear.
Not the couch we're sitting on, thank God.
No,
this one was a little more expensive.
This
but
is the
it
nice
was
couch.
It was like a little 2-seat, like a little 2-seat love seat. I hey, I was tired. I saw a place, and I just was like, hey, I'm gonna go flying for a little bit. I'm gonna go see what I can do. And I got up,
He got up
I
and
got up
went
there.
straight back down.
Yep. And the couch broke my fall, but I ended up breaking the couch. Hey, turn of events, like we sold that couch for like $40. Broken.
How do you sell a $40?
I don't know.
How do you sell it for $40 when it's
it was
broke?
it was like $40, and like when they came and picked it up, we were like, it's broken. They're like, yeah, okay, $40, here we go. Yeah, and we just shut the door. And went,
you do it before they can.
Hey, well, they knew though.
Like
we told them like straight up, hey, this couch is broken. Oh, why? We got $40 for it. All right,
$40.
$40. Get you a lot in Kansas.
It'll get you a lot in anywhere in Kansas. Honestly, people are losing their minds slowly but surely in Kansas. But anyways, going back into like the football era, this is a question I haven't ever really asked anybody.
Oh boy.
When it comes to the locker room, I don't know if you're allowed to say because bro code when it comes to football is pretty strong. But when it goes to the locker room, are there any I know it's got to be different than what happens in high school locker rooms for sure.
Oh yeah.
But is there like any like stories that you have that happened in a locker room that just was outstandingly hilarious?
There's a couple. And that place is just a place that if you have never experienced it at either high school or college or that level, guys or girls, it's just a different atmosphere because you're around the same guys every day and you're doing everything together. So you guys there's a lot of time spent with each other.
It's tripping. I don't like it.
No, there's a few times defensive players come on the offensive side and fake fight, fake wrestle, and so that that was fun. Then you got the quarterbacks who sit there and try and be offensive linemen, which is hilarious.
Oh, jeez.
Because you get everybody, how's my kick step? And they get them, kick doing their kick step and power. But you should have got this thrown at you. I think it was for the drink. It's for the drink.
Oh. Smart thinking. Big brain.
But no, there's a few stories. It's
McDonald's sponsor us.
There's a few stories, but it's definitely something that it's kind of
it's kind of exactly. Yeah. I figured that's the answer. I was hoping that's
there's not
that,
for
sure.
I gave you kind of the little ins, but not too much but it's a fun place because again you got guys. You get in there before practice. You're all kind of sitting there okay, another day of practice. Here we go.
Right.
After practice, oh, man, I'm tired. I'm going home, eating, going to sleep, bed. And then you get all that, sleep deprivation stuff. And it's just guys will crack jokes. And it's just team bonding. And it's just it's a cool experience. It's a fun experience.
Right.
But, no, it's definitely what happens in there usually stays in there.
Yeah.
And
I totally
it's
understand
between
that.
guys.
I totally understand that. I kind of want to get into, this is the No Simping, Just Pimping podcast. So, Nick is no longer simping or pimping.
Nope.
Because he is recently engaged. And I kind of want to know, we'll bring her, she's sitting over here, we'll bring her on here in a little bit because his fiance is actually the one that made the No Simping, Just Pimping logo for us.
She did.
And so
she does a lot of good, really good just drawings. She'll see it and she'll have an idea and she'll go with it. And
it's a skill. It really is a skill.
She had three ideas for the logo and all three of them were really good.
She did send. I think she sent. Did you send me all three of those? I thought so.
Yeah. They're amazing. It's cool. It's a skill I don't have. I cannot draw. The best drawing you're gonna get is a stick figure of some spiky hair, long hair. That's my
the little pictures you used to give your parents when you were little.
Hey,
stick them on the fridge.
I'm 21 and you'll still get that same picture.
Oh man,
I ain't got no skill when it comes to that.
I'm pretty sure my mom actually still has some of them. I said mom because I was looking at her as she walked by. But how did you? I want to go back to. And you can get as detailed to this as you want. When did you and Becca meet for the first time, if you remember? Do you want to come on for this part? Do you want to talk about this with him, or do you want to just hear his side of the story?
I want to hear what he has to say.
Okay.
Just put me on the spot. No, we met actually my senior year of high school, or our senior year of high school. Met in around September. Actually, it was the Powder Puff game. I know this will sound, kind of cliche and everything else like that, but I was one of the coaches, and she actually played offensive line. So she was on the offensive line, and I was a coach on the offensive line.
Oh.
So we were getting ready for the game. Actually, we were
Sorry, she's over there giving her a head massage, and she looks like a cat that's about to attack. I don't know if it picked that up, but
I
that was
hope
funny.
not.
Oh man, that was great.
No, we were getting ready for the game, and it's the senior versus juniors Powder Puff, right? Well, we're sitting there, and the country song comes on over the speakers.
If you don't like country music, leave now.
Me, I don't gotta leave. I mean, I listen to like all types of music, but my main is country. Country is like my soul in a way.
Your soul. Music does. Yeah. Okay. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean? Like, it calms me down. It gets me excited. It's who I am.
It's emotionally attached to you.
Yeah. I mean,
For
I
sure.
grew up.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
grew up. Riding horses. I grew up. Taking care of them. I grew up hunting, fishing. Like, country is a big part of me. Well, a country song came on, and all of a sudden, everybody else, like, aren't a big fan of country, or they can tolerate it. Well, she's the only one that started like singing and dancing to the song. And at that point, it was just kind of like at that point, I don't think I'd ever met somebody that, in a way, like, knew country as much as I did, or as loved it as much as I did, because I've never seen somebody like all of a sudden stop talking, start singing and dancing to country music in Colorado Springs.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Like,
I
seriously.
completely forgot to even say that in the intro. He's not even from Kansas.
No,
we're expanding our guests now. We're going outside of Kansas apparently.
So that was, and it at that time everything kind of just stopped, and like the sun hit, and it was just, honestly, at that point I fell in love. Like, it was like, oh man,
boom!
It was like
struck by lightning.
I was like, man, I've got to find
it's a true love story.
I've got to find a way to get to know her and talk to her a little more,
Right.
So we get going, and a little funny backstory is she's got an album of 4 pictures. Each picture is from each of our 4 years, and we had no clue. Like, our first picture was freshman year. She was at a lunch table. I was sitting right behind her. No clue who each other were. Second picture was our parents literally sat like diagonal of each other at a basketball game, because our sisters played on the basketball team there from our high school. Third year, we're standing next to each other. Again, I was a Powder Puff coach. My junior year, we're standing right next to each other. Senior year, standing right next to each other. Like, there's 4 straight pictures in 4 straight years that we're around each other. Now, I don't know if a lot of you believe like destiny or fate,
right?
But you can't sit there and tell me 4 straight pictures in 4 straight years we're around each other. That's something you don't hear a whole lot of. It was like, I saw her from across the room and went and talked to her. No, it was in high school. Then we played our homecoming game. I ended up just breaking. I broke my hand. So I got casted.
Dude, what is with homecoming games? I broke my femur in a homecoming game.
I don't know. But no, I ended up breaking my hand. My hand kind of sits funny.
Oh, it does.
My ring
I thought you were doing that on purpose.
No,
my
ring finger just sits over to the side of my thumb now because I broke.
Do you ever like tape it back over to where like it stays in the right spot? Do you really?
Yeah, I tape it like in practice and stuff. I'll tape it to my pinky, and stuff. But homecoming dance comes. And I see her through the dance, see her. I was like, God, I gotta get to know her. I got to get somehow, some way, Snapchat, Instagram, you know, a text. Like, I got to find a way to get to know her, to just see where things may go. If it ended up as friends, great.
It's better than
like,
nothing.
Yeah, you know, at least I gained a new friend. Well, so afterwards, we're sitting on top, or we're not sitting on top, but we, I'm
sorry.
The guys I went with were standing up at the landing, and then she walked up and was standing there, and I saw her, and I was like, and at that point I took a chance. I was like, hey. She was fine. Hey, how are you? I'm like, you know, what happened to your hand? I was like, I broke it last night, you know, in the game, splinted, and I'll be in a cast. She's like, oh, that sucks. And then at that point, it was like, went our way. Dude, I got home, and I know this may sound weird, but I looked for her, like, on, like, Instagram.
You tried to find her.
I did.
I
tried to find.
like, talk to her.
I did.
I got you.
And this is after homecoming, so it's probably 12, 1 o'clock. I'm just sitting there, and I wasn't tired. You know, you get that, you know, that you're
After
coming,
like
you're
going
coming,
dancing and whatnot, you don't really get tired.
you're coming down off of that, like, you know, fun time. So it's like, okay, I'm gonna need a little bit before I like I'm gonna crash. Well, I found her on Instagram. At that point, I just took my chance and
He slid into the DMs.
I did, and that was, you know, and that was before sliding in the DMs was a thing.
Yeah, he was successful too, because now he's engaged.
Well, and what I said, I was like, hey, you know, you looked very beautiful tonight. I hope you had fun.
Oh, he's a man that's smooth with the words.
Well, and the funny thing is, it took like what seemed like 20 to 30 minutes before I responded, because I saw that she had seen it, and I'm like,
oh, you played him.
Oh, yeah, she didn't tell me
like,
that.
Mom, look.
Like,
Mom, look.
Yeah, well, but I'm sitting there and I'm like, man, 30 minutes has passed. Like, I came off really weird. Like, I must have
ghosted.
Pretty much. And then I got a response back, and basically that's what started. We started hanging out more at school, getting to know each other. And then it was around September 30th when we went on our first date, and we're official from
The
there.
fact that you remember that much. How long have you been dating?
It's going to be what? We've been 3. It's 3.5 coming up soon.
See, I can remember years, but the fact you remember the first date, like the date of the first date,
Well, I mean, you know,
that.
it's hard to, you know.
Forget it.
Hard to forget it when, you know, you got somebody who's pretty good with dates.
That's fair. That's fair.
But plus, if I forgot, I'd probably never hear the end of it. So
True. Do you want to come on real quick? Because I actually have a question for you. She's coming.
You can come over here.
Yeah, he could just go over there. He can scoot over a little bit, and then you guys can like share that mic for a second.
You want to sit this?
But I just have like 2 or 3 questions for you, because it's kind of like I want to hear the other side of the story because you're here, so why not? But ladies and gentlemen, the future Gossage. The one question that I kind of wanted to start off with you is like, when it comes to like the artwork and everything, how, like, what made you like get, blah, 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 if I could speak, holy cow, what made you like get into like even just the way that you do it? Like, what made you start wanting to do that more?
About my junior year of high school, I started to do calligraphy work. So like the fancy like word lettering, I would just see quotes online that I really liked, and I do it that way. Because up to that point, art was not my thing. In middle school, like, you'd have these kids that were like the artists, and I was just kind of like, I'll do some shapes, like, you know, like
I'll make some shapes here and there.
like my mom would put it on the fridge anyway, and I'd be like, okay.
Yeah, stick figures.
Hey, those never made it on though. I never made that.
It was actually my sister, my senior year of high school. She asked me to make something that she could give to her friends for like their friend anniversary or whatever. And that's kind of what started it. So I did like an outline of like their favorite picture of them, and it was just lines, and the background was all colored, and I just kind of thought like this is fun, like this is the way I can express myself and give it to my friends. And so just slowly, I mean, I got an iPad, and I was able to start doing more art digitally in that way. I mean, I do like to paint, but it just...
Her paintings are pretty good.
It just kind of got to the point that I felt like this is something that I can do to express myself, because I do get... I mean, everyone gets stressed when they're doing schoolwork or just work all the time, and I just found it as my outlet to kind of have that creativity, and it doesn't stress me out most of the time, unless I'm trying to make it look really good, and then it's like, but no, it was, I guess just what really started was just I wanted to make it look good, and it was more of like less about making money and more of giving it to people and be like, I care about you and I want you to have this because I made it for you.
Okay. That's a detailed answer.
Yeah.
I'm processing because like no, that's perfect. It's a podcast. We got all the time in the world. I'm just kind of like processing that because like the only thing that I can even relate to that is I took a photography class and I wouldn't say amazing at it, but I got pretty decent at it to where like most of the pictures that are what?
She's looking at you like
junior and senior year. I actually won a few awards.
What a sister.
I know, right? She doesn't know anything. Hey! R.I.P. Anyways. Moving on here. I was going to ask, I wanted to know, like, because he came up with the brain idea. He was the smart one with the proposal in general. But when it came to, so I remember we were sitting here. I don't remember where the girls went. The girls disappeared for the night. But me, Nick, and Trey was actually here at the time. We were all sitting around talking.
Out.
Was that Halloween?
That was Halloween.
Oh, it was Halloween. Yeah. Okay. So me, Trey, and Nick were just sitting here talking, and Trey looks at me, or Nick goes, "Yeah, I'm thinking about proposing here soon." Like within the next 3 weeks, they're at Disney. Was it World or Land?
World.
They were at Disney World, and you just see Nick on one knee, and I was like. I didn't realize he was doing it so soon. The dude's 21, and I was actually fishing with Colton. If you don't know who Colton is, you got to go see the second episode, and you'll kind of learn about Colton a little bit. Colton's hilarious. He's my comedian clown friend. But we were fishing last night, and I looked at him, and I was coming up with the questions for you, and I looked at him, and I was like, dude, imagine like being happily married or like being like engaged, and he goes, just imagine being happy. And I laughed so hard. And the best part, it is 3 or not even 3, it's like 12 at night or in the morning, 12 in the morning, and we're just sitting there with headlamps sitting by the water with our poles, and I was like, dude, just imagine being like happily engaged. He goes, imagine being happy. And like you just hear wolves and everything in the background. I looked at Colton and I was like, dude, we're going to die here. And Colton goes, if I die here, I'm going to be so pissed. Anyways, that was completely off topic. It was a great like part of it. But I kind of want to know your backstory because I know your family gets into like Disney a lot. Yeah. And so kind of like how much was like it. I'm trying to figure out how exactly I want to word the question. But like how much did it like mean to you that the fact that he did it at Disney? Like was it like when he went down on one knee to you? Was it something like you were expecting, or was it like like you were like, wait, what?
I was very surprised. Like, I genuinely had no idea that he was going to propose. And
I knew.
Everyone
I just didn't know
knew
when.
but me.
Okay, so a little backstory. So Becca was at work when I decided that I was going to propose. And one was... the idea that I had was New Year's Eve when they invited me out to Idaho with her family.
You guys went to Idaho? I've actually never been to
Went
Idaho.
over winter break. Well, my idea was to do it on like New Year's Eve. I thought that would have been a good point. Well, I brought it up to Abby and Bailey at the time and was like, hey, I'm thinking of proposing, in Idaho, but we're going to Disney. Like, I think this would be better. What do you guys think?
You did it in front of the castle, too, right?
Yes.
Well, at that man point, said, watch me work.
Well, at that point, it was Bailey and Abby were like, dude, you can't, like, why are you second-guessing?
Disney?
Why are you even second-guessing going to Idaho and doing it? You got to do it at Disney. I'm like, that's what I figured. I just want to make sure. Well, at that point, it was like, okay, this was an idea, So then I took a trip home by myself. Told her that I was just going to go home for a quick weekend, see the family. Well, I ended up going and talking to her parents about it and getting their blessing. And so I got it.
Smooth moves.
So I got it.
Sneaky.
So I got their blessing. So I got their blessing, and then came back and then bought the ring.
Did you buy it from here?
Yeah, I got it at Riddle's.
Oh, okay.
Dude,
I don't know what
nice.
Riddle's
It was like
okay.
a nice little 40% off deal. But it was like, it's a real the ring itself is. If it wasn't 40% off, dude, I'd be in some trouble. You know, it probably wouldn't have happened as soon as it did. But no, I felt it was the right time. So sorry.
It's okay.
Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, Becca, the amazing artiste that did our logo, soon to be Gossage.
Oh, I'm good.
Okay.
Did you have something else you wanted to say?
No,
you can say what.
A question. I never actually answered that
Oh,
question.
answer the question. What was the question? Sorry, I got ADHD. I have conversations in my head and don't
I
actually
had
get
to
through.
jump in and like fill that part in.
Yeah, what was even the question I asked you?
You asked me how much it meant to me.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead and answer that question because my mind went completely.
Oh my gosh, you're good. Well, first of all, like when he said that he asked permission and he kept using the word permission, that's a big thing in my family for not permission, the blessing. You did it. You said it right. I said it wrong.
Yes.
Blessing is huge versus permission because when my dad asked my grandfather for his permission to like propose to my mom, my grandpa looked at him and said, "Son, you're asking for my blessing, not my permission. It's her choice. She is not my property." So like it's just a big thing. So when we were talking about it like way before he even went and talked to my parents, I was like, when that time comes, ask for their blessing, not their permission, or my dad is going to take that moment to be like, first of all, no.
Teaching moment.
But with Disney, I mean, my parents met at Disney World on a college internship.
Oh.
So Disney,
So it goes way back.
Yes.
So Disney's just
Man, you really do got a big brain. Okay.
So yeah, Disney's just a huge part of our family, and I mean, it's around our house back home. It's around my apartment here. It's just something that really means a lot to our family. And so for the first time that he was being there to share that experience with him, and then for him to decide to ask me to marry him there was just extra special.
Did you cry?
After, like, it took a second, like we took the pictures and all of that, and I was like said yes, and I was so happy, and then later like I like started like shaking, and like I was like, oh, the adrenaline.
Like she was shaking. That
Took a second to kick in.
Because she looked at the ring and all of a sudden you just saw her hand just. I'm like, oh my god.
What did I do? But
No.
anyways, Becca,
Yes, thanks for having me
thank you
on.
for answering my questions.
Absolutely.
The lovely lady herself, the amazing artiste. With her coming on to talk about that leads me to my next question, because I know similar to what it's like because I grew up with two sisters that are crazy. That was her in the background, ladies and gentlemen. She will actually be on tomorrow. Bailey is coming on tomorrow. I'm shooting 2 videos while I am in Hayes. They will just be separated, obviously, when posted. But we're going to knock out 2 podcasts in 2 days. And that's actually a first for me. I've actually never had that many shot in a day. Like, normally we spanned them out, but we're grinding them out this week.
Out of way.
But she will come on with one of her best friends in Hayes. And we're going to get into a conversation about me and Bailey's childhood and going into further questions that I have. But that leads me to ask you a question, because it's a question that neither one of them will be able to answer, because they don't see it from a guy's perspective. I grew up with 2 sisters. One is now, I forgot how old Addie is.
22. Oh, I was going to say.
She is, yeah, I know her
This is
age. But Addie, is she 16? 17. She's, no, not yet. She will be in September. Okay, yeah, you're right. So technically 17. But I have a 17-year-old sister, 16-year-old sister, sorry, and a 22-year-old sister. Both of them are bat crazy. Sorry.
Excuse you.
I love you, but sorry, it's true. When it comes down to it, I know what it's like to live with 2 girls, and I know how crazy it can be. For crying out loud, you get in a car with a girl, and they turn the music up and roll the windows down, and hair's everywhere and whatnot. But what is it like? Okay, so they have, up in Hayes, I guess I don't really know if I'd call it up, but there's, I got to count, hold on. So technically there's 2 people that live in the apartment we're in right now. Mm-hmm. But there is mainly 5 at most times. Nick is the only guy.
Yes.
That kind of hangs out here just because it's Becca's apartment. But I kind of want to know, like, what is, like, things that go through your head? Like, you'll be sitting on the couch. What are things that go through your head as the girls are doing whatever girls do? And I can kind of say this before you even answer that question. Before we even started this podcast, we turn around and all of them are, like, touching each other's face in a circle. And I was like, what is going
Gavin
on?
and I were sitting on the couch, and I was like, dude.
We're sitting here like, oh,
they're
we're at a
just
cult.
all
We're,
touchy.
we're in the middle of a cult meeting. Anyways, but I kind of want to know, like, because you live up here. I'm only here every now and then. I come up maybe once, sometimes twice a month, depending on what's going on.
Right.
But I kind of want to know what's, like, going through your head as you sit here and you see some of the things that go on in this house, because this is, like, if you had a frat, or not even a frat, if you had, like, a... Sorority? Yeah. Sorority or, like, even a...
I'd be the bouncer.
Even just, like, a house full of, like, a content house or something. This is, like, the depth. Like, you could stick cameras up in here and the things that happen.
You could get some good stuff.
You could. Kind of. It's like the things that you do would make good content is what I meant by that. But anyways, yeah. I want to know what, like, you think when it comes to girls in this situation.
No, I mean, there's definitely never a dull moment around them. You know, I love each of them, you know, so much. They play a big part in my life. You know, when I first came out here, outside of football, Bailey was one of the first people I met. Becca was in Boise. So for our first year apart, we did long distance. Yeah. So
that's actually something I got to say it before I forget. Something I completely forgot to say when Becca was on here. She was a swimmer through high school.
Yep.
From what I learned. So
All-state.
Her and Nick are both, like, insane athletes. Your babies are going to be monsters.
Dude, man, she had, like, scholarship offers to go D1 swim.
Oh, yeah. She told me about that.
Like,
but
she didn't want to, you know, and on her, like, do what makes you happy. And
exactly.
I'm happy how things turned out. But yeah, our first year we were apart, you know. So
long distance, which is hard.
Well, and we were only what 7-8 months in a relationship at that point. Like, so it was a fairly new relationship, and honestly, and she'll agree to it. We thought it was just going to be like a summer year thing. Okay, we got a date to, you know, prom coming up. We have, like, these significant things coming up in senior year, you know.
Prom is, like, the number one.
Like, so.
Date. Like, it's like a dating. It's like speed dating in high school. Like,
well, and for us,
when your prom date's your new boyfriend or girlfriend is how it always seems to turn out like that.
But like for us, prom was way down the road. Like, and it was something that at that point was like, you know, let's give this a shot. And before even prom hit, we knew this was going to be more than just a senior year thing. So, hey, anybody who's going through long distance, it works, but you just got to put the time in.
You got to be committed.
You got to be committed and respect each person, respect each other, know how, you know, the other one is. When times are bad, you know. But having that other person to help you through it makes the whole difference in the world. It really does. I mean, there were a couple of times, like, I just felt down, and she'd call, and we'd be on FaceTime for hours. But it's just knowing that I would be able to see her soon, and, you know, every time I'd see her was a very special moment. It was great to see her again, but leaving sucked. Anybody who's doing it, I did it, we did it, and now, you know, we're engaged. You know, it can work, but you got to be all in. No, back to what I was saying was Bailey's the first person I really met outside of football. So she and I started getting to know each other and everything, and she became like a sister to me. I grew up with a sister at home. Love my sister to death back home. Love her, you know. But she's not out here.
Right.
You know, I'm out.
You make new circles. I get what you're saying. Yeah.
I'm by myself out here. A lot of my family's back in Colorado. I got some family out in Abilene that I get to see a few times, you know, when I get the chance to, and they're coming out tomorrow, so I'll be able to see them tomorrow. But met Bailey, loved Bailey to death. She and I are like brother and sister. You know, we'll have those kind of crazy arguments, you know, and you know. But at the end of the day,
excel sometimes.
But at the end of the day, she's somebody that I know if I can lean on and I can come to, she'll be there, and the same for her. I met Abby pretty soon after.
Abby's a Cornhusker. I like Abby.
Go Big Red.
Met Abby soon after, and then at that point, you know, she and I became pretty close. You know, outside of football, I have a lot of teammates and guys that I can call my friends outside of football, but you see each other every day. It's just kind of like you walk around campus and you don't know anybody, where you see other people like around campus kind of like in a little group.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, oh, well, okay. So finding that little group, and then met Beatrice this year, and Beatrice and I have become good friends as well. You know,
I didn't realize it, but I actually met her on her 22nd, maybe 21st, 22nd birthday. Is one of. Okay, that's fine. Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. Never mind.
So
I thought I met her a lot earlier.
No,
But it's all good.
But yeah, no, like, so they're my family, you know, here, and they're people I can rely on and turn to whenever I need to. But there's some wild, you know, I mean, it's 4 females in a house and a guy, you know. I mean, this is the biggest place that any of us really have, so this is where everybody kind of spends a lot of their time at.
Understandable.
You know, but I always enjoy coming over and seeing him. When I don't see him, it's weird.
He does have his own apartment. It's a
yes,
little.
I do. It's
apartment.
a studio apartment. It's for one person. But other than that, no. It's when I don't see him, it's weird and I miss him. When I do see him, there's sometimes I'm like, okay, I could have gone without. But in my head, I know that's not true because I know I'd miss him.
Right.
You know, miss not seeing him. But and then again, in my head, I'm like, God, I wish there was another guy around here because.
That's when I come in.
So exactly. So it's like another dude comes around. It's like, okay, you know, some more testosterone around, not all the feminine. So no, I love them to death.
This is going to be okay. So we're going to end up coming up to wrap this up. We've been going for 40 minutes. Time flies when you're doing this. I have one question for you. And then we'll go ahead and end this off. I have a bunch of other questions, but I'll save them for when Trey comes back because Trey will be able to pitch in on them too.
Okay.
Going off the end of this podcast, what is like if you had to name, or not even name, sorry, if you had like one thing that you wanted to like put out there for people to like think about and sit on, or like just like to kind of sit back and think. Inspirational. It can be anything that's like advice. It could be inspirational. Or just something that like makes their day better. What is like one thing off the top of your head that you could say?
Just be yourself, you know. And it took me a while to realize, you know, that who I am really doesn't matter to what other people think. People don't like me for who I am. You know, for a while I was very like, well, why not? Like, I would rather I was a people pleaser because I wanted people to like me so much. Well, I grew out of that when I met, you know,
everybody else here.
When I met everybody, but especially when I met Becca, she kind of grounded me for a little bit, and she brought a side out of me that I didn't know I had, and that was that I just kind of pushed down and pushed away because I was always the person people had to turn to lean on, you know, and talk about their problems. I never felt like I could get my problems off my chest.
Gotcha.
But that's just be yourself. Be the person that you want to be, and don't carry the weight that you think that you can carry by yourself because you can't. You can't carry it. I thought I could. I failed. I couldn't carry the whole weight that I thought I could.
It's a lot.
It's a lot, you know. And I'll bring it back. Grandfather passed away this year, you know, and that hit me hard.
That hits anybody hard, losing a family member.
Well, you know, he and I were really close, so that one hit me hard. Well, I got a call when I was coming over here to grab homework to take back to mine. I got the call here. Abby was at work. Becca was at work. And Bailey, I knew was at hers.
And this is before you knew Beatrice.
Yes, this was before I knew B. I called Bailey just hysterical. Like, I needed her. Nobody else was answering. I couldn't get a hold of anybody. And she got over here, and I just lost it in her arms. I was crying so bad. You know, feeling like I was having to hold on to so much and not wanting to put that onto them or to anybody else when they asked me what was wrong. And I'd say I'm good. Nothing's wrong. I'm fine.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't true. So, and it hurt, and it wasn't a good place to be in at that time. It wasn't some place I wanted to be. But I didn't want to bother them with it. And that's just who I am as a person. I don't want to bother anybody with anything that I have going on with me. That doesn't work.
Yeah.
You got to let it out. But again,
so have that person you can talk to. Is basically what you're saying.
Get that group, that solid group. You're going to have friends that are going to like you for you. And then you're going to have people that aren't going to like you because of how you are. But stay true to yourself. You stay true to yourself, you're going to find a really good group of people that you don't ever want to let go or lose.
Right.
And
that goes back to kind of like our name.
Exactly.
With pimping. Pimping means a whole nother thing nowadays. It means knowing your worth, knowing that you're not going to change who you are for somebody else kind of thing. And
right.
So my way of like summing up what you just told me is basically saying, don't change anything about yourself.
No. And if anything, embrace it. Embrace who you are.
Embrace who you are.
God made you for you. He doesn't want you to change anything about you.
Right.
Develop and change as the person that you want to become. Don't let anybody criticism-wise do anything or anything in your life take that away from you. Because you take that away from you, you're living in a place that isn't a great place to be in. Find that group of people. Really connect and truly love them, as friends. I see all them as, my sisters, except for my fiance.
That, yeah.
Whoa. but they all hold a special spot and a special piece. They all have a special piece of my heart. And I know it sounds, all
I'm
mushy
sorry.
and
No,
stuff.
No, I'm not. I'm laughing at the thing you said before that still. I'm sorry.
But other than that, no. Like, find the group. I don't care if it's, girls or guys. Find that group of people that you could turn to when things are rough and when, you're down. But don't ever change who you are. You're one person. You got one life. Live the life the best you can. Don't look back. Just keep pushing forward. There's going to be dark days and there's going to be days that are so bright. You don't think things are going to change or, you think things are going to always ride this high, and they're not. But in the middle of that, be who God wanted you to be in the first place. Don't change. Love yourself. You're going to have a great life,
With the wise words of Nick Gossage.
Hey, I'm 6'4",
He's a real teddy bear. I figured that out. He's a big teddy bear.
That's the one standard that I don't understand. It's like I walk around and people are always timid or scared, like, to come up to me or talk to me.
You're a big dude.
I get it, and it's just I'm like, but
you're like the tower to everybody's little shack house.
Well, at the same time, don't be afraid. I don't judge anybody from when I first meet them.
Don't judge a book by its cover.
Exactly, and like I said, I'm not going to change. I can't change being 6'4". I can't change that.
Right.
But I'm not going to sit there and embrace what people say, and that I'm he must be a mean or like I'm not going to talk to this guy. No, I got feelings too. I want to meet new people. I want to make new friends. Who doesn't? Who doesn't want to meet new people?
Exactly.
So,
well, it was a great episode with Nick. The only thing I have to say left is don't forget about our give back. The drawing will be posted on our Instagram on the 31st of this month. So the last Monday of the month, we'll be posting on Instagram the two winners that ended up being drawn. To enter into that, you just have to follow our Instagram, subscribe to the channel, and then if you DM us on Instagram, you have a better chance of getting entered into that drawing. Nick, where can they find you if they want to follow you for?
If you guys want to follow me, and you can look me up on Instagram. Be at 79 lowercase g and then Gossage. So 79 Gossage. Pretty simple.
I put it on the screen for him too.
Yeah.
So,
but it's simple.
Don't be simping. Just keep pimping. It's been Fitch.
Gossage.
We out.